Tonight on Our News Weekend, tragic developments in the capital as two young men fall victim to gun violence. Investigators hint at a possible connection between the homicides. They are leaving no stone unturned. We've got details off the top. Plus, demands for an apology. The leader of government business in the House calls for accountability from a sitting MP following controversial remarks suggesting potential judicial bias. Joshua Williams delves into the contentious issues straight ahead. And from paradise to Paris, Nishi Ellis shines bright at the World Athletics Relays in a career-defining moment. Our News Weekend starts right now. This is Our News Weekend. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Candino Knowles, in for Megan Shepard. More gun violence in the capital, claiming the lives of two more young men as investigators now trying to piece together the circumstances in both cases. Joshua Williams spoke with police working late Friday into Saturday morning to get to the bottom of this latest tragedy.
A bloody start to the weekend as two teens shot and killed hours apart in separate incidents. Quintine Alley, the scene of the first incident, which Press Liaison Chief Superintendent Chrislyn Skipping says happened after 11 Friday night.
Three males were on a basketball court at a school on Wolf Road when they were approached by three males, all of whom wore hooded jackets. It is reported that the males got into an altercation with the suspects. The males walked away. They were pursued by the suspects in the hooded jacket, one of whom produced a firearm, fired a shot, striking the 18-year-old. He was taken to hospital via EMS, where he succumbed to his injuries at the hospital.
But the gun violence didn't end there. 4.5 hours later, investigators headed to Smith Lane off Wolf Road, where they made another shocking discovery.
A 15-year-old male, juvenile male, was asleep at his residence along with another juvenile male when some unknown persons pried a window open, pushed their hand through the window, and fired multiple gunshots into the room, hitting the 15-year-old multiple times. He succumbed to his injuries on scene. The other individual who was also in the room was unharmed during the incident.
And while the fear of crime may persist, Chief Superintendent Skipping says police don't believe these are random incidents.
What we see happening are conflicts that are targeted. It's not general, just going into people's home or just randomly shooting at people. That is not occurring in our country. What we see happening or occurring in our country are targeted incidents where persons are involved in conflicts. Either they are involved in drug activity or the sale of firearms.
And with an 18-year-old and 15-year-old dead, Skippings has this warning for parents.
If your child is involved in the sale of drugs, sale of firearms, this could very well be their fate. I'm not saying that that is what happened this morning, but that is what we see happening as it relates to the crime that is occurring, or the serious crimes, I should say, that's occurring in our country. And so we just cannot be broad with it. We have to speak to exactly what it is that we see happening.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
Thanks for that, Joshua. And just before news time, Chief Superintendent Skipping's telling us new information shows a connection between both those homicides. She didn't give us much more details, but says investigators continue their probe. And officers not catching a break this morning after a traffic fatality on Poinciana Avenue and Mackey Street around 4 a.m. The call coming in as police were investigating the shooting of that 15-year-old boy on Smith Lane. Second in command of the Traffic Division, Superintendent Karen Jennings tells us the motorcyclist died after a hit and run.
On arrival, they discovered a blue trail cycle just east of Market Street on Poinciana Avenue. Initial information is this cycle was traveling in an unknown direction when it was hit by another vehicle that was also traveling at an unknown direction at this time. A male was found lifeless. EMS was contacted. They checked the body and they confirmed the same. This male would have been between the ages of late 20s to early 30s.
Traffic police report a recent uptick in hit-and-run cases, but Superintendent Jennings warns perpetrators they will be caught.
There are charges for persons that leave the scene of any accident. That's against the law, and also that hinders our investigation. And we want people to adhere to the traffic laws. We want them to stay on the scene of an accident. That'll assist us greatly with closure to these accidents.
An apology being demanded from a sitting member of the House of Assembly by the leader of government business following an assertion by the member that judges could be biased, resulting in them not giving a fair trial without a jury present. Joshua Williams is following this.
Leader of government business in the House of Assembly, Wayne Munro, blasting Long Island Member of Parliament Adrian Gibson's recent criticism of the trial by Judge Loan Bill 2024. The bill, which passed in the House of Assembly this week, allows defendants in the Supreme Court to opt for a trial heard by a judge or jury. Gibson raising concerns of whether judges can rule without bias, but Munro condemning his remarks as distasteful.
A lot of what fell from the other side is disrespectful and inappropriate to be said in Parliament. To talk about bias is to suggest that a judge will not be true to his judicial oath. Judges swear to do right by all men without fear or favor. Judges, if they have an issue of bias that they know, move immediately.
Munro vehemently defended the integrity of the judiciary, citing past cases such as that of sitting at North Abaco MP Kirk Cornish as evidence of judges' meticulous attention to fairness.
Where judges are asked those questions of jurors, and depending on what jurors say, then they excuse them. In that case, where the juror did not disclose a close relationship to the leader of the opposition, in a case that involved a sitting PLP MP, who the women's branch of the FNM had gone on record as making a statement. The judge found that in those circumstances, there was a risk or perception of bias, because that's the test, whether there would be a perception of bias.
Gibson, the former executive chairman of the Water and Sewage Corporation, is currently embroiled in the trial in the Supreme Court, facing several fraud charges. Munro hinted at a possible motive behind Gibson's remarks.
I can understand the pressure of having an ongoing criminal case in which you are at risk of being convicted, what that may do to someone's perceptions, because make no mistake, your personal circumstances affect your perception of things.
Munro, who is an attorney and former Supreme Court judge, says he felt personally disrespected.
As a lawyer, he should know he ought not to be suggesting that judges don't live up to their judicial oath. It's disrespectful, it's not appropriate, and he really owes the entire judiciary, the Supreme Court, Court of Appeal, and Privy Council an apology.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
Thanks, Josh. Well, when Our News Weekend comes back from the break, Nishi Ellis, a beacon of talent in the Bahamian entertainment scene, stole the spotlight at the recent World Athletics Relays, her electrifying performance reaching millions across the globe. And celebrating mothers, the countdown is on to the special day. We'll show you how officers of the West GB Division showed up for the women in their community when Our News Weekend returns.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
The 2024 World Athletics Relays in the history books, and prep now underway for the 2025 edition that's set for China. But 2 former Bahamian Olympians telling Sasha Lightbourne they believe Team Bahamas could have had a better performance.
I think the only thing that is lacking at this point in time is that we aren't seeing greater performances on the track.
Tonique Williams, who won gold for the Bahamas at the 2004 Olympic Games in Athens in the 400 meters, said she was happy with how the World Athletics Relays held in the Bahamas last weekend was received, but wants everyone to remember what got the Bahamas to this point.
We don't want to keep improving on the way we host the meet, our facilities, and then we forgot really what got us here, which is the legacy that our athletes have already given to the world. And so we want to make sure that that's also keeping pace with everything else that we've managed to improve on.
And Demetrius Pinder, one of our Golden Knights, agrees. He says more attention to the athletes is needed.
I was a little bit disappointed to see where Bahamas is at the moment. I think it's a lot to do with lack of coaching, a lack of knowledge of track and field, and it's something that we need to really take heed and look at, because back in our days we had about 8 guys underneath 45. You know, it's hard to make the team, but we have to go scout and get kids out of high school now, and then it's just still happy that, you know, the kids are able to come out here and do something, but compete on a professional level like that, I think we really need to take heed in that and focus more on and backing the athletes. That's where we lack.
The World Athletics Relays is scheduled for China next year. Reporting for our news, I'm Sasha Lightbourne.
All right, thanks for that, Sasha. And still talking about the World Athletics Relays, Nishi Ellis, a shining star amongst Bahamian entertainers, graced the stage at the newly refurbished Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium last weekend. As millions tuned in from every corner of the globe, Nishi poured her heart and soul into her performance, captivating audiences worldwide with her talent and passion. It's been described as an electrifying moment and the pinnacle of her career thus far. Nishi recently shared with us the profound significance of that moment.
It was nerve-wracking, of course.
You still get nervous?
Yeah, oh yeah, before every performance. People don't know that, but you know, don't say that too much. But yeah, it was nerve-wracking for me, but an experience I'll definitely never forget. That was the biggest stage I would have said that I performed on since Nishi Ellis became Nishi Ellis, and so the experience was unlike any other.
A proud Nishi added that she is very grateful for the opportunity.
Like, that was an entire stadium of people just standing up and dancing and screaming and singing your song, and it was an amazing experience, and I'm very, very, very grateful for the opportunity.
One Bahamian Olympic hopeful is out and another is passing her knowledge on to the next generation. Our Sports is next.
Plus, the Mother's Day celebration continues. We'll show you the heartfelt luncheon in the Fox Hill community honoring their contributions. The story when Our News Weekend returns.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
This is Our News. Welcome back. Antonique Strawn's season comes to a premature end, and Devin Charlton shares her knowledge with young athletes in Grand Bahama. Here now with Our Sports is Tage Adderley. Tage?
Thanks, Cantino. Good evening. I'm Tate Adley here with the weekend edition of Our Sports. Antonique Strawn was one of several Bahamians looking to compete in the 2024 Olympics in Paris. She announced yesterday that her Olympic dreams are on hold. The Bahamian sprinter announced via her social media page that she shut it down for the year. In an IG post, she said she was deleting a chapter to save her entire book and that she would, quote, see you in 2025, end quote. The Olympic hopeful pulled out of last week's IAAF World Relays with an undisclosed injury that she didn't feel like she could run through. That injury will have her out of the Olympics. We wish Strawn a speedy recovery and all the best when she gets back to the track. We're going to stick to the track where another superstar showed up to show the youth how she does it.
It's just my way to do my part in developing the talent we have here in the Bahamas.
That's Olympic hurdler Devin Charlton talking about the clinic she hosted this past week in Grand Bahama. Dozens of young hurdlers turned out to learn technique from one of the world's best. This is her first event in Grand Bahama, but she says there's more to come.
We started off in Nassau last year, expanded to Grand Bahama, and so want to make this like a yearly event and eventually expand out into other events and other areas of sports.
And this is an incredibly busy time for Devin. She's prepping for an Olympic run, so it's great to see that she could find time to give back. That's a wrap for sports on this Saturday evening. Have a good one.
All right, thanks a lot for that, Tage. We'll tell you weather conditions expected on Mother's Day. And if you've got outdoor plans to celebrate Mom, Ian McKenzie's in the Weather Center with your extended forecast. Plus, to Mothers with Love. We'll show you a well-deserved tribute during a heartfelt luncheon hosted by Fox Hill Urban Renewal when Our News Weekend returns. Welcome back to Our News. A recent family fun day at the Beacon School playground brought smiles to the faces of dozens of children in Grand Bahama. The special occasion marked Disability Day of Love. The fun day was topped off with lots of food, drinks, games, and music. The effort was spearheaded by the Ministry of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting Disability Affairs Division, along with the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities. Chief Social Worker Brenna May Cooper says the event is now in its third consecutive year, and it's just a reminder of the significance of inclusivity, accessibility, and equality for individuals with disabilities.
This is an event that was founded by our late Minister Obadiah Wilshire, 3 years ago. So every year we do this. I guess now, maybe in his honor. Okay. But yes, just for our persons living with disabilities and their families, because the challenges are already so great for them, and just a time that they can just feel the love.
The Jags pop band rocked the event, adding an extra sparkle to the kids' day of fun. Band leader Shakita Stubbs and president of the GB Deaf Association, Jonathan Cooper, share why they teamed up with the other organizations.
I just believe in what the cause is, and I think this sector always goes unnoticed, so I'm glad that they set a day aside just to spread love to the kids.
We want to send a strong message to the public. Discrimination is not the thing, so this is why we want the public to continue to love them and do what is best for them. Right? Like we understand that they're living hardship, but we're trying to soften it so that they can live up their life as a person with disability.
All right, what a great initiative. Well, if you've been out and about today, then you know it's been a super hot day. Highs got up to 85 and the feels like in the 90s. With what you can expect for the rest of the weekend heading into Mother's Day. Here now is meteorologist Ian McKenzie with your extended weather forecast. Ian?
Thanks, Gandino, and good evening, Bahamas. Welcome to your pre-Mother's Day forecast. We're currently outside our studios. We're under a few clouds. Warm temperature 83, feels like still muggy 76. Winds are from the east-northeast at 10 miles per hour. Current temperatures across the country at this time in our nation's second city, Freeport, we have 83, also in Great Albuquerque and in the capital, 84 in Alistown, 85 in Nicholstown, 82 in Marsh Harbor, and 80 in Governor's Harbor, Eleuthera. In the central Bahamas, you have 85 in Camps Bay, 81 in Georgetown, as well as Deadman's Key, Long Island, 80 in Arthurstown, Kid Island, 79 in Coburn Town, San Salvador. The southeast Bahamas, continuing with those 81s in Duncantown, Delectable Bay, and in Colonel Hill, 82 in Abrahams Bay, Meguana, 83 in Providenciales, Turks and Caicos, and 84 in Matthewtown, Inagua. First look now at our satellite and radar imagery where we have a plume of moisture, the sagging clouds. This is all associated with a weak cold front that is expected to pretty much fizzle out throughout the course of the next 24 hours. However, it may trigger 1 or 2 pockets of showers and possible isolated thunderstorms mainly across the extreme northwest Bahamas. Elsewhere, high pressure remains the dominant weather feature. Boating forecast, gorgeous. Winds variable at 10 knots or less, seas 1 to 3 feet. High tide at 11:31 p.m. tonight, low tide at 6:05 a.m. tomorrow morning. And in your extended forecast, looking at Mother's Day, beautiful. Still on the warm side, though. We expect those temperatures to persist throughout the week in the mid-80s, bumping back up into the 90-degree mark by Saturday, which are low temperatures hanging around the 70-degree mark. That's mid-70s degree mark. That's a look at your forecast. Make it a great, safe, fun night, everyone.
All right, thanks for that, Ian. We are now hours away from the big day. But ahead of the official celebrations, 100 mothers of the West Grand Bahama community honored for their efforts during a special luncheon by the Royal Bahamas Police Force West GB Division this week. Officer in charge of the 8 Mile Rock Police Station, Assistant Superintendent Cordell Capron, highlighting their contributions, thanking mothers for their hard work and dedication.
We recognize the struggles and the challenges for mothers in this district, and we know that you will put yourself in a position where you persevere more than lose. And we as an organization, with the sanctioning of the Commissioner of Police, we just wanted to stop by to say we thank you, we love you for what you're doing, and continue to keep us covered in prayer.
ASP Capron adds that it was their mission to put a smile on the faces of the mothers.
We want to put a smile on their face to let them know, hey, listen, you are loved, you are appreciated, and we pray God strengthen you as you go on in life.
All right, in celebration of Mother's Day, Fox Hill Urban Renewal also honoring the cherished mothers of that community with a heartfelt luncheon. The event graced by familiar faces and even received a special greeting from 2 special women who warmly embraced all the mothers in attendance.
It is just awesome. You know, it is so good to be able for Urban Renewal to show us as mothers appreciation in the Fox Hill area.
That was Beverly Bethel, president of the Fox Hill Senior Citizen Association, simply in awe of the event held on Wednesday, honoring their contributions. A day filled with singing, dancing, and lively entertainment for mothers of all ages. The keynote speaker, a familiar face.
Mothers always look up there, make sure their children have their food even when they don't eat. And y'all know what I'm talking about. They sacrifice their money. Sometimes mothers, and I recall my mom, and I'm not ashamed to say it because back then things were a little rough. But I recall my mom sewing husband so I could get a brand new set to participate in the Christmas program. That's the kind of mothers that we have.
And then there was this special moment as Governor General Dame Cynthia Mother Pratt graced the occasion, her presence lighting up the room as she walked among the guests, exchanging warm greetings and smiles with everyone. Joining in the celebrations, Area Representative Fred Mitchell, who delivered a heartfelt personal message, adding to the warmth and camaraderie of the gathering.
There's no question that women in particular play a major role in the raising of children in this country. And so we have to support their work and salute the efforts of all women and mothers in particular who raise the children. At the same time, we have to send out a signal to fathers that they have a responsibility to make sure these little boys get the proper training and support during their lifetime.
All right, what a wonderful way to celebrate mothers. Thank you so much for joining us for Our News Weekend. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Candido Knowles, wishing you a safe and wonderful evening.